Alright, so I'm 1 hour into the carving of this Bigfoot piece. And about to start hour 2 of carving. So here we go. Hopefully I can get a good chunk of this done in the next hour. Probably, definitely not getting all of it done, but hopefully a good chunk. Finishing out the beard. I'm going to find the middle line and carve that out. And keep the line underneath this the lip pretty wide. I want that to be a real heavy line. Maybe not that heavy though. Come back in. There we go. That feels better. Okay. Let him go on the back side here and carve this out. Okay. All right. It's time for the ear. Now it's Bigfoot fur time. Which, the difference between this fur and the fur that I'm going to put in the arms and the shoulders is that these are going to be big long pieces, and then these are going to be short little pieces. So the strokes that I'm going to make in here are going to be a lot shorter than the strokes that I've made here. So that's going to be the difference. So I'm going to do some much shorter. But I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to start over here because this sits behind that. I like to start on the things that are in front first. Alright, now I'm going to come back up here and work on the shoulder. Okay. So I've got the shoulder carved here. Let's see. That shoulder carved. I'm going to work on this other shoulder. And then I shall be done with the Bigfoot and on to the everything else. Hey Marty. How are you? Excuse me. Alright. almost getting there with the fur. And here we go, last little layer of fur happening on the bottom of this ring. Little nicks, little nicks, little nicks, little nicks. And there we go. Alright, so Bigfoot is 100% complete now. So that's what we got at the moment. Trying to get it under the camera. And now I'm going to start working on the background. The flowers and the butterflies and the foliage. I'm going to start on the back side of the head, the back left side. Yay, thank you, Karen. It's always good to see you stop in. A little bit of cut out there, a little bit there. And then I gotta cut out the center of this flower. Flower, flower. Look a little bit of shadowy things there. A little bit of this there. And clear out the rest. So it's nice when a little bit of extra information is left under these pieces. Okay, okay. Carving out the leaves, carving out the leaves. Alright, should I do flowers next or butterflies next? I'm going to do the butterflies next, so I can make sense of it. Butterflies, yay. We're on the same page. Alright, so I'm working on this little butterfly first. So figuring out how I drew this. So these areas are to be taken away. I typically put a little X into the areas that are to remain black, but I thought that would confuse the butterfly carving when I went to go do that because of all the little small areas. I should have just went and colored it in, but it's going to be okay. I'm just going to have to think a little bit more as I'm carving through these. And if I carve away a little too much, that's okay too. I will just Make sure that both sides are the same. I think that's the most important thing. I use butterflies as models for these, but I'm not married to like the specific breed or species of butterfly that these are. I'm gonna get my little U gouge, my very tiny one. I'm gonna carve out little eye spots for this butterfly. And then I'm gonna cut out his head shape. There we go. Little butterfly head shape carved out here. I'll round it out a little bit. And then I'm going to get my other U gouge. And I'm going to start carving out these white spots. And the way I do that is I kind of just come at on one side of them, and I flip it and come at the other side of them. And it pulls it on out. I gotta use the bigger one for some of these. I can change the size of my cuts by the angle and the length. And since these are kind of white blobs on the butterfly's wings, I don't want them to be complete circles. So I'm not trying to make them complete circles. Alright, so I got my bigger U gouge now. A little bit. There's gonna be a big old blobby over here. This one's gonna come a little bit like that. Back at the other side of these now. And then a log there. Come on out. Alright. Okay. So now this is underneath this wing, which means I'm not going to take out a whole lot. So it looks like it's sitting under the wing. Very intentional with the marks that I'm making. I'm carving the direction of the wing. Alright. But now that that's done, I'll carve away a good bit of it. Still keep my mark making intentional. When did I send? When did you first get into this type of art? I've been doing woodcuts for about for about 8 to 10 years now, somewhere in that range. I was in college and I took an introductory to printmaking class, and I enjoyed the process, so I kept at it. And here I am. I've been graduated for, let's see, 7 years. I graduated in 2011. And I've been working full time doing these. What did I major in college? I'm printmaking, drawing, painting, and printmaking. So I have a degree in studio art with a concentration in drawing, painting, and printmaking. Okay. And then I go in I'm going to get my smaller U-gouge. So I can take out these blob shapes again. It's a tough medium to break into. There's a giant learning curve involved, and it's for some people it's working counterintuitive to what seems natural, because you're removing every mark that you make is you're removing what's going to be printed rather than laying down what's going to exist. So there's plenty of classes all over the place. I'm sure there's classes where you are. I would just go take a class and see what you think and see if you like it. is that wood. It's MDF, medium density fiberboard. Very similar to wood. Working on side 2 of the butterfly wing now. In my class, we learned a little of intaglio printing, and I didn't like it too much because we used our school's milk cartons and it just kept tearing it. Use milk cartons to do intaglio. What grade are you in? College, high school, what are you in? '11th grade. Where do you live? If you wanna, you don't have to give me like a city or United States, maybe a state of where you are. Are you in like a big area or a small city, small rural area? Yeah, I mean, that's in its truest form, that is intaglio, but it's not the best way. Texas. All right, so I know Austin has a print week if you're anywhere near Austin, but I would just go to an art store, and for about $20 you can get this stuff. So you go and you get a piece of linoleum and some speedball linoleum cutters. You can ask whoever works there if they have it. Hopefully they do. Generally, most stores will have it. I can't remember if Michael's has this kind of stuff. I think they do. I think Michael's has speedball cutters and linoleum. And just play around. See what you can do with that. You won't be able to get wood carving stuff unless you go online. But I was even if you wanted to get wood carving stuff, I would start off by doing linoleum first. Just because it's a little bit more forgiving, and you don't have to use power tools to make it smaller, and work with it. So just go to like, I don't know what's in the Texas area. If there's a Dick Blick around. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Michael's does have the speedball stuff. So go to Michael's and get the speedball stuff. If you have like a Dick Blick or a more professional art store, go there instead and ask whoever's there if they have linoleum tools, and then just take it home and play with it. And the main thing is just always carve away from yourself. Never carve towards your hand or towards your body, and you should be fine. Thank you. I plan to be posting lots of videos, so. And if you haven't seen, I sometimes I take the time to put these videos out on YouTube. So you should go check me out there. I'm able to post, full versions of my videos there rather than the time lapses and the 1 minute restrictions that I have here on Instagram. So you should go over there and check out my full videos. The first time I worked with linoleum printing, I stabbed myself in the thumb with the carver. Yep, that sounds about right. Which wood do you prefer to carve and what prints best? Depends on what you're working on, to be honest with you. I carve MDF a lot, but depending on the project I'm doing, I'll carve maple or I'll carve linoleum. So it just depends on what you're working on. My advice is always to grab what's available to you and play with it and see what it can do, and then figure out which which material works best for what you want to do. Because if you ask 10 different relief artists what they like best, you'll probably get 10 different answers. And I can only tell you from my experience what I enjoy the best. Do you work with other mediums? I work. I've worked with a lot of other mediums. Let me say it that way. I've been working as a relief artist for a long time, about 10 years now, and I don't stray too far out of that anymore. But I have experience with, oil painting. I have experience with watercolors. I have experience with sculpture. I have experience with silk screening. I have experience with intaglio, charcoal drawing, acrylic painting. You name it, I've probably done it. So I think it's important to explore everything, especially at your age, in your stage where you are. Explore it all and see what you like. I have little experience with lithography, but not a whole lot. Because depending on how you like to draw and how you like to create, you might like, mono printing, or you might like dry point or etching more than relief. Because each process and every medium has limitations on what it can do and what it can't, or what it's, because you can pretty much do anything you want with any medium, it feels like, but what is a little bit more more friendly to achieve the look you wanted to get. Alright. Butterfly number 1 is completed. Actually, I'm going to... This is going to be black in here, but I'm going to just take out some little nicks. Give it a little bit of texture. I didn't like how heavy it was there. I'm going to do this. Was it hard to be successful as a full-time artist after graduating? I mean, it's hard to be successful as a full-time artist today, 10 years after I graduated college. But, the advice that I give for that is that you need to... It's best if you just kind of dive right in. Of course, have a safety net in place if you need it, like still live with your parents or have something ready. But if you go out and you get a job after graduating, it's going to be difficult to find time to create unless that job is creative. And start working now to be successful as an artist afterward. Get the materials that you may need while you're still in school. I bought my press 6 months to a year before I graduated, just so I would have it when I did graduate. So this video is going to be ending in about a minute and a half, and I'm going to have to start another one, and I will. But I just want to let you know that I'm going to cut off in about a minute and a half, and then give me like a minute or two to start another one back up. Okay? Alright, I have about 10 minutes before this one's going to cut off, so I'm going to stop carving there. I'm just going to let this sit for a minute, and I'll see you in